start by overall your assessment of the offense, especially in light of the fact that you hadn't been able to work together as a group much during the training camp, and just the level of execution you were able to show.
Yeah, obviously felt like we moved the ball well as far as up and down the field. Had a number of long drives, 2 3-and-outs total, which is important to us not to have those short drives, especially for the whole team, the defense included. I felt like we made some big plays. We were pretty efficient in third down. We were, I believe, 33%. 57%, something like that. So I felt like we were good there. Ultimately, we had a 2-minute before the half. We kind of lost ourselves some points there. End of the game, we would have loved to have tried to get one more first down there and just finish on our terms. And then ultimately the red zone, we were 1 for 4. So, those are some of those missed opportunities there. And those little things right there, those points add up into some missed opportunities that could have been the difference.
When you look at the red zone, you mentioned it 1 for 4. What's the key down there? Is execution even a higher priority in the red zone?
Yeah, red zone obviously. Obviously from my perspective, I'm looking at it from a scheme perspective. Players are probably looking at it from an execution perspective. We'll find that happy medium combination to find a way that works for us. But obviously, we're really, really close. I felt like a couple of those drives were really close, scoring touchdowns right there, and we just weren't able to get it done.
What are your expectations for Cedric Wilson having obviously stepped into a larger role?
Yeah, settle hop right in there. No issues, no concerns. He's the utility guy. He can do a little bit of everything, and obviously, like you saw on Thursday night when he had to go in there, I felt like we didn't really miss a beat.
How would you say that compared to what you were expecting? You said he was ready to go, but what do you know now that you didn't know before the game?
He stood in there strong. I think that's the biggest thing. Until you deal with the bullets around you, that's a different deal. And I thought he stood in there strong, took some shots as he delivered, and didn't flinch one bit. And it's pretty awesome to see.
He had one throw, I think it was to Amari, where he got hit by Sue.
Yeah.
He was throwing it. Obviously, you don't want to see him get that hit, but is that kind of a moment where, okay, I don't even need to worry about anything with this guy?
Yeah, certainly. He took a few shots. They had a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage, and he stood in there strong, delivered, eyes downfield the whole time. Really, I think that confirms any questions anyone has about him.
You called a couple of zone reads, and then you also ran,
Yeah.
time. Just talking about that, there was no second thought in your mind about you can do it.
Yeah, we're just picking and choosing our battles. We're not trying to be the Baltimore Ravens or anything like that. We're not going to run it a whole lot with Dak, but when the opportunity presents itself, we're going to play ball and we're going to be smart at the end of the run.
Have y'all talked to him about that? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Have y'all had a conversation about, especially being smart at the end of the run?
Yeah, he talks about it. I mean, I don't think we need to talk to him about it. He understands that circumstance. I think we had some initial conversations. Obviously, we just got to be smart in certain circumstances, knowing the situation of a game, and I think he handles them all really, really well. He's very rarely put himself in a position like he did last year with the Giants, and that was just a mentality of him, thinking he can run over people, and so I think he's in a good place.
It looks like y'all might not have LC for a little while. I'm just curious, does your approach about how to deal with that change at all as a quarterback gets more confident and more experienced like Dak is? I guess maybe you handle that differently in year 6 than you would have in year 2 or 3.
Yeah, obviously, we've kind of been dealing with some O-line, moving parts for a little while here, most of last year and obviously this year now too. And so I think we're used to being flexible with our game plans, with our approach to things, being aware of whatever matchups may present ourselves through this game. Hopefully put ourselves in a good situation. But, whether Terrence, Ty, those guys have been rotating out there, whatever our combination ends up being, we got to be ready to go on Sunday.
Are you a best 5 guys play or a keep guys at their normal spots type of person?
I mean, that's, today being Monday, I think it's all open discussion, and we'll see where it takes us.
Zach, speaks philosophically, generally philosophically, do you believe in the best 5 concept?
Yeah, obviously a best five is obviously a good way to go. Now you got to also balance out what we've done throughout the offseason and where we're at and where players are at different stages of whether it's their career or health status. And so we'll find a combination here as the week goes on and see what suits us best.
Does the fact that Zach played out there a couple games and played well give you, for the first time, give you confidence that he could do that even if he's not practiced much here this summer?
Zach can pretty much do anything. Zach's really talented. obviously he hasn't done a whole lot out there, but some stuff that once we start digging in this game plan, we'll have to make those decisions in the next couple days. But we're very early on the Chargers information right now.
It's your understanding though that Zach will be ready to go because he has not been removed from COVID distance yet.
Obviously, that's the hope, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Is this situation a little bit, like you say, you dealt with a lot of flux in the offensive line last year, but this is a defined period. It's not a 1 to 2 week thing. So do you analyze it a little bit differently when you know it's going to be at least 5 weeks and it's taking you to the bye and there are kind of marks like that?
Yeah. Obviously, obviously based off the information, this may be a little while, but we'll see where it goes. I think the most important thing is we just need to get out on the field and get guys moving before we jump into these decisions. We got to process where we're at with the Chargers, where we're at as a roster, and then we'll go from there.
What do you like about Ty? What have you seen from Ty since he's been here?
Secchi,
Yes.
just smart vet. Obviously, he has tremendous size that as forces people to travel a little further distance to get to the quarterback. He's done a really nice job. I think he's handled the transition really smoothly. Being a veteran guy who can process a different language and just hop in there and play ball. And so, we feel fortunate to have a guy like him here in these circumstances.
How much Terrence grown from last year?
Big time. Terrence had a ton of reps even in preseason this year. I mean, the amount of reps he's played. We feel fortunate that now that we're at this point, he's taken advantage of a lot of reps they end up having that probably we weren't expecting last year, and he's continuing to get better and better. And we'll see where those two guys are both at.
What kind of hindrance is it when you've not been in it? You've had to play so many different combinations up front in your 17 games here the last couple of years. What hindrance is that as a play call?
I think just understanding matchups. There's really talented guys on the other side of the football, and we got to be smart about what matchups defenses can create, and hopefully put ourselves in the best situation to be successful and avoid any unnecessary challenges.
What was your overall assessment of Connor Montgomery's performance at right guard, stepping in for Zach?
Yeah, Connor did awesome. I was really happy for him, excited for him. He went in there, played Sue for the vast majority of that game, and felt like he held his own and did a really good job for us. I was really excited.
Zeke's stat lines weren't historically what they've been, but he's pretty active on all these plays, chipping, pass protection. How would you characterize his impact on the game, and what's the key to preparing him to do that?
Yeah, really good, solid day, I think, by Zeke. Obviously, the rushing production is an easy one to look at and say, it wasn't a great day. Protection was really good. Caught a couple passes out there, got some completions. That was a unique game. Like I said, if we need to throw it 60 times, if we need to run it 60 times, I really don't care. That was the number one rushing defense in the NFL. We can bang our head against the wall if we want. But I thought they did a good job stopping the run. They were going to create that opportunity. Obviously, Dak coming off the injury probably played a little bit of a role of them not knowing what his circumstance would be. And so we felt very comfortable with the game plan. I think we called 28 runs in the game. 12 times Dak threw it on the particular run just because it's what they presented the opportunity for us. And so felt good about it. And again, as the season goes, it's a long season. There's different matchups, different defensive schemes. We're going to need Zeke to pound it. It could be this week, could be the following week. He's always ready, but he does a great job, and he handles all these different circumstances so well. That's the exciting thing about him.
This in relation to that question specifically, but going back to the red zone.
Yeah.
How important is it for you to get a more consistent run threat in the red zone as far as opening up the playbook for you a little bit when you're in there? And is that something that would help you with your efficiency in that area?
Yeah, I think obviously first and second down, I think, is really the biggest, most important aspect of the red zone is how you handle first and second down, that you're still moving it and progressing in the right way. Third downs are really hard. Now, third downs in the red zone are even harder, in my opinion. There's such a limited space. They can play soft. There's just a lot of challenges with third downs in there. And so, certainly when you're able to run the ball in first and second down in the red zone, there's value to that. But obviously each game's got its different presentation, and we got to handle it accordingly.
What could Zeke have done different on that option?
I think at the end of the day, it was we had an opportunity on the block for Blake. Obviously, unfortunately, we weren't able to execute that. And then, I think the guy closed space really fast, and Zeke had to make a decision, and it just didn't work out in our favor. Obviously, that was a tough one for us because it felt like we had a really good opportunity right there.
All the time that you spend in the offseason focusing on the red zone
players into position for?
Yeah, we felt good about it. Just the way we kind of presented it, and it didn't work out. It's going to happen. We got to continue to improve in this red zone. We're really, really close. I think that's the beauty of it. We're not all standing there saying, what the heck's going on? We're right there. We just got to continue to stay with the course, trust the process, and we'll be just fine.
What was this offseason like in terms of focusing on the red zone? I know it's something that you guys studied. Can you kind of lay out what that process looked like?
In the offseason? We always like to just kind of stay on top of where the NFL is, and so watching the top teams in the red zone, study them, see where they're at, what pieces can apply to us, what lessons can we learn from those particular teams, and we take it from there. But I feel like we're right there. We're really, really close, and so I'm not in we need to change the course or anything like that. We're right there, and I feel good about where we're going.
Blake Jarman played his first extended action since the injury last year. How did he come through it, and was his amount of reps in relation to Dalton's about what you had planned?
Yeah, both those guys played a lot of reps. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think they're right around high 40s, 50 maybe. Both of them, we ended up playing with a lot of 12 personnel in that game just because we felt like it gave us some advantageous matchups outside. They were kind of playing for, in 12 personnel, play the run, tighten up the box. So those guys ended up playing a lot of reps in that game. So obviously for Blake, his first opportunity to get out there, obviously excited to have him back. And we'll continue to build on all that. And, both those guys are big-time players and key guys to our offense, and so we're going to continue to use both of them.
Dak and Amari were pretty effective from right when Amari got here, but how have you seen their chemistry go over time or at least evolve?
Yeah, I think just their communication, their constant conversation, kind of picking each other's brains to make sure they're both on the same page. I think that comes with time, and I think where they're at, where that whole receiving core is with Dak, those guys are in constant communication. I think that's the most important aspect. We can scheme up and install plays, but at the end of the day, those guys got to be on the same page, and so feel good with where they're at.
What sort of stress do you feel it puts on a defense when Zeke and Tony are on the field at the same time?
Yeah, we like both of them on the field. If we can get both those guys on the field, it's great. Rosters, especially game day, we got 3 running backs. We got Corey had just shown up this week, and so you also got to be conscious on the reps of how many times, just because we don't have the deepest running back room right now with that current structure. And but obviously, as much as we can, if we can get both those guys going, I think it presents us some really good opportunities.
We've asked you about Amari and his route running probably since he's been here.
Yeah.
I mean, what separates him from other guys in your mind when it comes to that?
I think he's very analytical. He takes the time to process. He studies those particular things, and so I think it's really, really fun to kind of be a part of that process with him. I think he truly. He walks out there with the plan, and not every route's going to be perfect. There's going to be times where the guy kind of got me, but he truly has a plan. He studies it, and I respect the heck out of the process that he goes through.
So there's more of a science to it than just, hey, get open.
Yeah. I think he studies it. He has a plan. There's always a reason, even when maybe what do you think about doing this? He's got a thought and he's got a reason for everything, and so I respect the heck out of guys who do that.
What types of questions does he come ask you when he's working through those things in his mind?
I think we're just having conversations on what type of defender it is in a particular game plan, and and I think he's just always thinking, okay, what's the next move? What's the next move? What can I do next? What can be the next route off of this particular route that I just ran against this defender? So he's constantly in communication with that, and I love it. I think it's awesome, and even the other guys, CD and MG and Noah said, so on and so forth. All those guys are starting to see that and build on that Amari's obviously created.
Does Zeke ever express any frustration when he looks, running backs, he's not getting paid to block, right? I mean, he's
Yeah.
paid to run the ball. Does he ever express any frustration like, hey, we need to do more, anything like that?
No, I think we have conversations about it, but I think Zeke's a big picture guy. He sees it. He did a phenomenal job in pass protection for us. There's a lot of guys in the box, and we're going to have other games where people are going to play too high shell and give us an opportunity to run the football, and Zeke's going to be ready to rock and roll there. And again, each week's kind of its own week. We keep them all independent of each other. This one we threw it a whole lot. I get it. Doesn't mean the next one we're throwing it a whole lot. Doesn't mean we're running it a whole lot. We'll approach it the same way. See what opportunities present ourselves, and we'll go from there.
I think evaluate what CD was able to do. He had 100 yards, but he played down the middle where he had his hands on and not able to come down.
Yeah. Ton of positives. Love where CD's at. Obviously, we had a couple opportunities we would have loved back, a couple missed opportunities in the passing game, but he's continuing to progress in the right way, and we're really excited to continue to build on what we have.
How important is that, what you just described, where every week your approach can vary drastically based on where you feel is the best way to attack an opposing defense, and just be multiple with your approach? How important is that?
Yeah, I think we got to be flexible. We got a clean slate. We always talk about just kind of going neutral, take the positives, take the negatives, and clean slate this thing and approach the next week completely fresh. And we'll have an initial game plan. We'll have an approach that we think, but we got to be ready also to make adjustments in game, especially early in the season. Teams have all offseason to go through and create a whole new approach to their defense. And week 2, there's going to be the Chargers are going to give us something that we haven't seen from them, and we get that, and that's all part of especially September football. And so we got to be ready to adjust. We got to be able to make those things throughout the games and present ourselves with hopefully the best opportunity to be successful.
Did you want them to start this game with the thought process that we'd have to throw it a lot, that we couldn't run?
Obviously,
What happened during the game?
I think within the game, obviously we felt like there was probably a high probability they would get an extra guy in the box, try and load the box. That's kind of been their approach for a long time, and so we certainly anticipated it. We went into it with a week 1 approach. Hey, we're going to be balanced here, but we know we got to make adjustments as we go. And like I said, really we called 28 runs. We just threw it 12 times, and so those opportunities presented themselves, and I love that Dak took them, and they became, I think we averaged 4.8 on all those, and that's what you want in a run. That's what you want to run on first down. And so we were still getting the same progress that we were hoping for in the run game.
Kelly, you were talking about clean slate and
Yeah.
September football and all that. Can you talk about the challenges this week where it's an unfamiliar AFC West opponent, and then with the new staff, I mean, what have you guys gone to do to see even what Ronaldo Hill
Yeah.
did in Denver? Or what
Yeah. Obviously, Coach Staley, we got LA Rams film from last year. We got some preseason film, which is, obviously preseason's a little bit limited, not to chase too many things in preseason. And then we got one game that I believe was 56 or 58 plays. So there's not a whole lot. I think you got to trust the process, trust who we are, know that we'll have a game plan, we'll have adjustments that we'll have to make throughout the game, and we'll go from there. And so, I think our guys are comfortable with this, the way we approach this thing, and we'll be able to go whichever way we need to.
Going back to your last point of getting 4.8 on those plays, is it fair to say that you kind of look at it more collectively, because you almost have had 10 throws in that game that served running purposes?
Yeah, and again, we threw a ball that traveled a foot in front of us to Tony that went for 8 yards. It's a pass. Yards are yards, whether they're run or pass. I think sometimes we get a little bit hung up on the category that they go into, but I think we want to attack people in a balanced way. Now that may be utilizing all our different personnel we've talked about, making sure all those guys get touches, spread the defenses horizontally so we can attack them. And, we want to have diversity in our approach. But, if it's a lot of runs, if it's a lot of passes, I don't really care.
What stands out about how Derwin James threatens an offense?
Yeah, really versatile. He certainly lines up in a number of positions. Been a really good player in this league, and so he's certainly one of those guys on that defense. They got a couple of them that you got to be very aware of where they are at all times.
Let's go.
Okay, thanks guys.